Trapped in the mine of shadows. In the tiny mountain town of Silver Creek, two families had been fighting for a very long time. Everyone in town knew the story of their anger. Like a sad song everyone remembered. But even though there was a lot of anger and gossip, two young people decided to be different. Alex, a spirited young man with a heart as resilient as the iron ore the town mined, fell deeply in love with Maya, the daughter of his family's sworn enemy. Their love blossomed in the shadows, hidden from the prying eyes of their families and the judgmental whispers of the town folk. They stole moments together in the abandoned mine, where the air was thick with the scent of earth and the promise of secrecy. But fate, with its cruel sense of timing, chose to test their love in the most unforgiving way. One fateful day, when the sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows over Silver Creek, disaster struck. The ground trembled violently, shaking buildings and unsettling the hearts of the townspeople. An earthquake, fierce and unrelenting, shattered the peace of the mountain town. Amidst the chaos, Alex and Maya found themselves in the depths of the old mine. They had sought refuge there, hoping its sturdy walls would shield them from the wrath of the earth. But as the tremors intensified, a deafening roar echoed through the tunnels, and the entrance collapsed in a cascade of rocks and dust. Trapped within the belly of the earth, Alex and Maya exchanged terrified glances. Around them, the mine groaned and creaked, its ancient timbers straining against the weight of the mountain above. They were cut off from the world, their only connection to the outside a tunnel now buried under tons of debris. Fear clutched at their hearts as they realized the magnitude of their predicament. They were not alone. Several others who had sought shelter in the mine were now trapped alongside them. Panic spread like wildfire among the survivors, mixing with the dust and despair that hung heavy in the air. In that moment of darkness and uncertainty, Alex held Maya close, whispering promises of hope against the backdrop of their uncertain future. But beneath their fear, a creeping dread began to take hold, a sense that their struggle for survival was only just beginning. Days turned into a blur of darkness, an echoing silence within the depths of the mine. Alex and Maya held onto each other, their hope fading like the weak light of a running-out lantern. In the beginning, they shared their small amount of food and water, and tried to calm the scared people gathered near them. But as the hours stretched into days, subtle signs of something sinister began to emerge. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, disappearing when they turned to look. Unexplained whispers echoed through the tunnels, carrying fragments of words long forgotten. The air grew heavy with a palpable tension, as if the mine itself held its breath in anticipation. Alex and Maya exchanged worried looks. They weren't saying anything, but the deep wrinkles on their faces showed they were thinking the same thing. They tried to ignore the strange things happening, thinking it was just because they were tired and scared. But they still had doubts, and a little voice inside them kept hinting at something scary lurking in the shadows. In the dim glow of their lantern, Alex stumbled upon faded markings etched into the walls of the mine. Cryptic symbols intertwined with crude drawings told tales of tragedy and despair, stories of feuds that spanned generations, of curses whispered in the dead of night. Maya's fingers traced the lines, her breath catching as the realization dawned upon her. The mine was not just a refuge from the earthquake. It was a tomb, a silent witness to the sins of their ancestors, and the legacy of hatred that had doomed them from the start. As they sat in the quiet moments between tremors, Alex and Maya found themselves struggling with not just the walls closing in on them, but also with memories from the past that threatened to overwhelm them completely. Their love, once a bright light in the dark times, now hung in the balance, challenged by forces they couldn't understand. As the days passed slowly trapped inside the cramped mine, Alex and Maya felt isolated and scared. The group of survivors, who once worked together, were now divided because they weren't sure what to do and were running out of food. Worried murmurs traveled through the tunnels, mixing with the faraway sound of the ground moving. Alex and Maya, once inseparable, found themselves drifting apart in the oppressive darkness. Sleep came fitfully, haunted by nightmares that blurred the line between reality and illusion. In the waking hours, they struggled to maintain a facade of strength for the others, but the cracks in their resolve grew wider with each passing day. The mine felt like a prison, trapping them not just with its walls but also with a scary feeling. It seemed like a bad force filled the air, making them face their worst fears. Strange shapes flickered at the edges of their sight, and they heard sounds that made no sense and were too awful to understand. Alex thought he saw shadowy figures for a brief moment, and their eyes seemed to blame him and show sadness. Maya, her nerves frayed by the constant tremors and the oppressive atmosphere, began to withdraw into herself. She spoke less, her gaze haunted by visions of her ancestors locked in eternal conflict. She found solace in the ancient markings on the walls, deciphering fragments of a story that seemed to foretell their doomed fate. Desperation drove Alex to look for any sign of hope, but the mine offered no relief, only reminders of the past and the constant passing of time. With each moment, the distance between them grew wider, their love struggling under the pressure of staying alive and the approaching danger. In the dwindling light of their lantern, Alex and Maya clung to each other, their hands trembling with unspoken fears. They knew that to survive, they must confront not only the physical barriers that held them captive, but also the insidious presence that threatened to consume their souls. Time stretched endlessly in the oppressive darkness of the mine. Alex and Maya, once united by love, now found themselves adrift in a sea of isolation and fear. The other survivors, their faces etched with resignation and dread, retreated into silence, their voices swallowed by the echoing emptiness of the tunnels. Alex tried to rally their spirits, his words tinged with false bravado that even he couldn't believe. Maya, haunted by visions and the weight of ancestral curses, withdrew further into herself, her once bright eyes now dimmed with the burden of knowledge they had unearthed. The mine seemed to conspire against them, its walls closing in like the jaws of a trap. Every tremor, every shift in the earth, amplified their sense of helplessness. Shadows flickered and danced along the walls, whispering secrets too terrible to comprehend. Alex saw strange shapes flicker by him. They looked like ghosts and reminded him of the bad things that had happened in the mine long ago. As days turned into nights, their lanterns sputtered low, throwing long shadows that danced menacingly on the walls. Terror squeezed their hearts, leaving no space for the hope they once held. They clung to each other for a sliver of warmth and reassurance. But the love that once burned brightly between them was slowly dimming under the constant weight of their imprisonment. In the depths of their despair, Alex and Maya clung to each other like castaways adrift in a storm-tossed sea. Their love, once a beacon of hope, now flickered like the dying embers of their lantern. They knew that to survive, they must confront not only the physical barriers of the mine, but also the darkness that threatened to consume them from within. Desperation drove Alex to explore deeper into the labyrinthine tunnels, his steps echoing hollowly in the suffocating darkness. He searched for any sign of a way out, his hands scraping against rough stone and ancient markings that whispered tales of sorrow and betrayal. Maya, left alone with her thoughts, traced the faded symbols on the walls. Her fingers trembled as she pieced together fragments of a story that seemed to echo their own plight. The markings spoke of a feud as old as the mountains themselves, of families torn apart by hatred and bound by a curse that doomed them to repeat the sins of their ancestors. In the dim light, Maya's eyes widened as she uncovered a hidden chamber deep within the mine. Its walls were adorned with cryptic runes and faded paintings depicting scenes of tragedy and loss. The air within the chamber was heavy with the weight of forgotten memories, the whispers of the past mingling with the stale scent of dust and decay. As she explored further, Maya's heart raced with a mix of dread and fascination. She found ancient artifacts and relics buried beneath layers of dust, each one a testament to the mine's dark history. The discovery sent a chill down her spine, as if the mine itself were urging her to unravel its secrets. Meanwhile, Alex found a narrow passage that seemed to lead upwards. With a surge of new hope, he dug at the debris blocking the way, his muscles aching against the weight of rocks and earth. The tunnel, though dangerous, offered a glimmer of escape, a chance to break free from the crushing weight of the mine. But as Alex and Maya ventured deeper into the heart of the mine, they realized that their discovery had awakened something ancient and malevolent. Shadows grew thicker, twisting into grotesque shapes that seemed to watch their every move. Whispers echoed through the tunnels, carrying warnings of a price to be paid for uncovering the mind's secrets. Their bond strained by fear and uncertainty, Alex and Maya clung to each other like shipwreck survivors in a storm-tossed sea. They knew that their desperate measures and newfound discoveries had brought them closer to the truth, but also closer to the edge of a darkness that threatened to consume them whole. With each second that passed, the mind felt more and more closed in. The walls seemed to be getting closer, like the sides of a giant cage. The air became thick and hard to breathe, as if something invisible was pushing down on them. A low, creepy feeling filled the darkness, like a scary voice speaking in a hushed tone. Alex and Maya, driven by desperation and a flicker of hope, pressed forward into the heart of the mine. They navigated treacherous tunnels and crumbling chambers, their senses sharpened by fear and the haunting echoes of the past. In a hidden room far underground, they found something shocking that scared them terribly. Old symbols gave off a faint light in the darkness, their message carved deep into the mine's walls. The fight between their families, which they thought was just a story about old arguments, now seemed like terrible magic, a magic that had trapped them all in a cycle of never-ending pain. As they confronted the truth, shadows stirred around them, twisting into grotesque shapes that seemed to mock their fragile grasp on reality. Maya's breath caught in her throat as she felt a presence, a malevolent force that hungered for their fear and despair. Alex, his resolve hardened by love and determination, took Maya's hand in his. Together, they faced the darkness that threatened to consume them, their hearts beating in unison against the relentless march of time. But the mine, ancient and unforgiving, had other plans. Its walls trembled with the weight of centuries-old grievances. Its tunnels shifting like the gears of a merciless machine, Alex and Maya realized with a sinking dread that they were not merely trapped within the confines of the mine. They were pawns in a game that had been played out countless times before. With all their remaining energy, Alex and Maya faced the ghosts of their family's past. Their voices rose in challenge against the crushing quiet. They fought not just for their own lives, but for the hope of escaping the endless loop of anger and sadness that had haunted their families for many years. In a final, desperate act of courage, Alex and Maya made a choice, a sacrifice that would bind them together for eternity. With a whispered promise and a silent plea, they faced the darkness head-on, their love shining brightly amidst the shadows. As the mine trembled around them, Alex and Maya stood at the precipice of a decision that would define their fate. The echoes of their ancestors' grievances reverberated through the tunnels, a relentless reminder of the curse that bound their families in perpetual conflict. With their hands clasped tightly together, Alex and Maya exchanged a glance filled with unspoken understanding. They knew that to break free from the mind's grip, they must confront the darkness within themselves, the fear, the doubt, and the lingering shadows of the past. Suddenly, in the middle of all the confusion, Alex realized what he had to do. He vowed seriously to keep Maya safe, no matter what. Even though his voice trembled, there was a strong determination in it that shone brightly against the growing darkness. Maya, feeling sad because of the problems they both faced, nodded silently in agreement. Tears welled up in her eyes, reflecting the flickering light of their lantern. Together, they faced the spectral figures that haunted the mine, their voices rising in a defiant chorus against the silence that threatened to consume them. With each step forward, they defied the curse that had ensnared their families for generations, their love a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil. But as they stood on the threshold of freedom, a sacrifice loomed before them, one that would demand everything they held dear. With a shared breath and a whispered prayer, Alex and Maya made a choice that transcended the boundaries of time and space. They offered themselves as a testament to the power of love, their bond forged in the crucible of adversity and strengthened by the trials they had faced together. In the final, agonizing moments, Alex and Maya embraced their destiny with open hearts and unwavering courage. They embraced the darkness and the light, their sacrifice a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. As the mine collapsed around them, Alex and Maya's voices merged in a final cry of defiance and liberation. Their love, though tested and scarred by the trials they had endured, emerged triumphant amidst the wreckage, a beacon of hope that would guide them through the darkness that lay ahead. As the dust settled and the echoes of their sacrifice faded into the silence, Alex and Maya found themselves bathed in the faint glow of dawn. They emerged from the rubble of the collapsed mine, their bodies bruised and weary, but their spirits buoyed by a newfound sense of peace. The town of Silver Creek lay in ruins, its streets scarred by the earthquake that had shattered lives and dreams alike. But amidst the devastation, Alex and Maya stood united, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of love to overcome even the darkest of shadows. Their families, once divided by bitterness and pride, gathered around them with tear-streaked faces and hearts heavy with remorse. The curse that had haunted their ancestors for generations lay broken, its hold shattered by the sacrifice of two souls bound by an unbreakable bond. In the days that followed, Alex and Maya rebuilt their lives in the middle of the leftover pieces from the old mine. They worked together, their hands joined in the work of healing and starting new. The marks of their terrible experience were still strong in their hearts. But they moved forward with a fresh purpose and appreciation for every valuable moment. Silver Creek, though forever changed, began to heal from the wounds of the past. The townspeople, once divided by feuds and mistrust, came together in solidarity and shared grief. Alex and Maya's love became a beacon of hope for a community determined to forge a future built on forgiveness and understanding. As they stood on the precipice of a new beginning, Alex and Maya knew that their journey was far from over. They carried with them the lessons learned in the depths of the mine, the importance of compassion, the strength found in unity, and the enduring power of love to transcend even the most formidable obstacles. Hand in hand, they walked into the sunrise, their hearts intertwined like the roots of an ancient tree. Together, they faced the future with unwavering faith and a promise to cherish every moment, knowing that their love had weathered the storm and emerged stronger than ever before.